If you are a Canadian who still thinks that Mark Carney is working on behalf of you, I have a bridge to sell you. What an absolute joke. In Canada, we are currently seeing Khalistani protests, a designated terrorist group in India, protesting on our streets about some Indian conflict that has nothing to do with Canada. The Minister of Immigration from India is talking about how there are tens of thousands of known terrorists that we have allowed into the country. Out west, they are in Calgary raising Palestinian flags. Canadian schools introducing that halal food needs to be used. Why the hell are we importing foreign conflict into our country? There is so much going on in Canada right now. People can't afford to eat. Since Trudeau was elected in 2015, housing prices have skyrocketed, rental prices have skyrocketed, directly correlated to immigration. An estimated 70,000 Canadians are dying a year because of our overworked healthcare system. They are trying to pass bills C3, C8, C9, which would be the end of free speech in this country. They're trying to cut out your ability to criticize the government. And what do we have throughout Canada? We have all these conflicts that have absolutely nothing to do with this country, because we are allowing 3% of our total population, of the total population of this country, every single year. We are allowing a new British Columbia worth of immigrants into Canada every 4 years. It is insanity. Only a government that truly hated the people of this country would allow this to happen. And what's Mark Carney doing after 4 years of cheering on Trudeau's insane immigration policies? He's continuing them. He's continuing despite the fact that a record number of Canadians say that these immigration numbers are unsustainable. They want a moratorium or at least a severe cut. Carney's giving us more of the same. This is unprecedented. In 2020, there was a huge jump in Canada from allowing 0.5% of the total population of Canada in on immigrants in a year to 1.3. This was a massive 160% jump. Craziness during these tough economic times. But then to jump that number from 1.3 to 3% is civilizational suicide. It's literally what it is. There's study after study, whether you want to talk economics, whether you want to talk healthcare system, whether you want to talk social cohesion. This level of immigration is unsustainable and will destroy this country. Only leaders that truly hate us would continue to allow hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people, 1.5 million people between permanent and temporary workers in the year 2025 into Canada. Many people from countries with Sharia law, countries that are not compatible with Canadian values of freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of religion. Countries where if you blaspheme against Allah, you get sentenced to life in prison. Where a woman is not allowed to leave the house without the accompaniment of a man. Where if a man is caught sleeping with another man, he's thrown off a building. We're inviting millions of these people in when over 2 million Canadians are using food banks on an annual basis. A record number. This is treason. We have a government that indisputably hates us. They send tens of billions of dollars overseas, 20 billion to Ukraine, hundreds of millions to Palestine, 11 billion for gender studies overseas at the same time as the Canadian people starve. How about this for an idea? How about the whole reason that our government exists is to serve the Canadian people? If our government is not here in Canada to serve us, it should not exist. Why are we inviting all the world's problems in here? Why do we have thousands of Khalistani protesters, a terrorist organization in India, in our streets shutting it down? Why do we have Palestinian protesters marching through Jewish neighborhoods? This never used to happen in Canada. But our government invites millions of people in, and instead of having an open and honest debate about the numbers, what do? They pass Bill C8, Bill C9 that make it illegal to criticize them on immigration. They've seen the polling. They know they can't win the argument. Thank God Winnipeg, Mark Carney's out to throw the initial coin toss at the Grey Cup last night, and he is booed mercilessly. And well friggin' deserved. The man is doing everything in his power to destroy this country. And you know what they do? They say, rather than saying, okay, let's have a discussion around immigration, let's have a discussion around the economy, let's have a discussion around our healthcare system. You know what they do? They say, we know we can't win this argument. They know that they can't win the immigration argument. Canada, and you can't say, oh, you're racist, xenophobe, transphobe, whatever phobe or ist you want to use. Canada has always been one of the most pro-immigration countries in the entire world. But this is insanity. Bringing in 3% of your total population on an annual basis when the standard of living continues to drop. GDP per capita has dropped 6 quarters in a row, which is considered the best measure of how your average citizen is doing. GDP per capita growth in total over the past decade, 0.2% Canada. It's 2% a year in the United States of America, thanks to these green initiatives. Mark Carney and his ilk get himself and his elite buddies rich as hell, invite millions of immigrants in, which help out the elite of the elite, the Brookfield Asset Management, that owe billions of dollars worth of real estate. They flood the zone with supply to pump prices on housing and condos up. Meanwhile, middle and lower class Canadians continue to get squeezed out more and more and more and more. And the Canadian people have had enough. We're fed up with it. We are fed up with it. We're not allowing Mark Carney to invite 3% of the goddamn population in every year. Well, it continues to make us poor and poor and poor. That's why I founded the Fight for Canada Party. Going to keep you guys updated as they get back to me with officially getting registered as a federal party. And we're going to attack the Liberal Party of Canada mercilessly. These guys are traitors. This is not a mistake. This is malevolent. This is the intentional destruction of Canada. And unless we stand up now and say enough is enough, Canada as we know and love it is going to cease to exist. You cannot continue to bring this many people in when we already have a healthcare system that is being deleted. I know 2 people who didn't have to pass away, who passed away because of our ridiculously porous healthcare system that is overburdened, while the Canadian government goes out overseas and advertises to immigrants the fact that we have a so-called free healthcare system. It is an absolute joke. Here, veterans in Canada are treated worse than immigrants are. I know veterans who are only getting $870 a month and they have legitimate disabilities. Well, immigrants come in and they get nearly $300 a day. It is a pathetic joke. Mark Carney and the Liberal Party of Canada are straight up traitors, and the Fight for Canada Party is going to go after these guys. Bill C8, Bill C9, they think they can shut us down. They're only going to make us louder. Ban me from TikTok with 30K. That just means you're saying something that people care about. They know I'm right. They know they're wrong. The Liberal Party of Canada needs to be shut down. They are destroying this country, but the Canadian people are not going out without a fight. Please like, share, subscribe, join, become a member, donate, grab some gear. Really appreciate everybody's supports. Good job, Winnipeg. Good job.